Are the billions of cancer-causing plastic particles that are getting into our food a form of global population control? Michael Snyder reports, all the plastic that we have surrounded ourselves with is slowly killing us. The UN estimates that we produce 430 million tons of plastic each year, and approximately two-thirds of that plastic is only used for a short period of time. Just think of all the plastic wrappers and containers that you throw away on a regular basis. All of that plastic ends up somewhere, and it steadily breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces. Once the pieces get small enough, they become known as microplastics, and they have literally saturated our water, our soil, and our air all over the planet. In fact, scientists have found microplastics wherever they have looked, and that includes some of the remotest locations of the entire globe. That's because even the rain that falls from the sky contains microplastics, and so there is no possible way to escape these plastics. Can you believe that? And as you'll see, it's well known that plastic pollution causes very serious health problems in humans. The big corporations that produce all of this plastic know this, but they just keep doing it anyway. Our politicians also know that all of this plastic pollution is doing what it's doing to us, but they won't lift a finger to stop it. Could it be possible that the billions of cancer-causing plastic particles that are getting into our food are a form of global population control? Consider that question as you read this. One team of researchers recently tested 16 types of protein that were purchased from 2 supermarkets in Portland, Oregon, and they discovered that 90% of the products they purchased are polluted by plastic. The majority of meat and plant-based alternatives contain tiny plastic pieces linked to cancer, according to a study that comes a day after bottled water was found to be loaded with the toxins. Scientists tested 16 types of proteins, including chicken nuggets, beef steaks, fish fillets, plant-based burgers, which showed that humans consume plastics no matter the source of protein they choose. 90% of the products contain nanoplastics, which scientists fear can accumulate in your vital organs with unknown health implications. No matter what you decide to eat tonight, it will probably contain plastic particles. Of course, the same thing is true for what we drink. Another recent study found that bottled water, in particular, is absolutely loaded with plastic. The shocking results appear to echo that of a study released on Monday, which found an average of 240,000 nanoparticles in a 1 liter bottle of water, that's about 1 pint, compared to 5.5 per 1 liter of tap water. Okay, that's 240,000 compared to the tap water, which is only 5.5. So it's better to drink tap water. And that's what I do. But anyway, University of Columbia researchers tested 3 popular brands of bottled water sold in the United States, and using lasers analyzed the plastic particles they contained down to just 100 nanometers in size. There was a time much earlier in my life when I drank a lot of bottled water. I will not make that mistake again, Michael Snyder says. But of course, none of us can get away from the plastic pollution completely. It's been estimated that 40% of the dust in our homes is now made of plastic, and it's being reported that the amount of microplastic pollution on our ocean floors has actually tripled over the past 2 decades. The amount of microplastics found at the bottom of oceans has tripled in 20 years. Once microplastics land on the seafloor, they no longer degrade, either due to the lack of erosion, oxygen, or even light. Even if we stopped using all plastic tomorrow, the plastic that we have already discarded would continue to break down into smaller and smaller pieces for decades to come, so the damage has already been done. Sadly, all of this plastic is having an absolutely enormous impact on our health. But some estimates say that plastic-related diseases kill more than 1 million people each year globally, and experts believe that chemicals may be contributing to a mysterious rise in cancers in young people. The new study by New York University researchers estimated that in 2018 alone, exposure to the microplastics cost the U.S. healthcare system $289 billion. Just look at that figure. That's a ton of money. Numerous studies have linked microplastic exposure to cancer. Here's one example. In an article published September 24, 2023, in the American Journal of Industrial Medicine, Gregory Zaris, and co-author from the Office of Innovation and Analytics, Atlanta, USA, reviewed 34 studies on the occupational health effects of microplastic exposure and found a relationship between polyvinyl chloride, that's PVC, particles, and liver toxicity. The author screened the literature for publications focusing on worker exposure to microplastics that also reported health outcomes. Of the 34 included studies, 17 concerned PVC and 17 more included 5 other plastic types. Separating the reported effects by plastic type, Zaris and colleagues found an increased risk of lung cancer associated with exposure to high concentrations of PVC microplastic dust particles. Besides effects on the respiratory system, exposure to PVC was further associated with liver damage, including lung cancers. These human outcomes were confirmed by the animal exposure studies the authors also had to look at. So numerous studies have also linked microplastic exposure also to infertility. The following study was actually posted on the official NIH website. Due to the problematic degradation properties of plastics, the decomposition of plastic results in the formation of numerous microplastics, MPs, less than 5 millimeter in diameter. These MPs enter the soil and the ocean, eventually passing through the air, water, or food chain back to the human body and harming human health. In the last 80 years, male semen analysis parameters have shown a significant decline for unknown reasons, speculated to be caused by pollutants. No studies examined the relationship between human MP exposure and male infertility. In this article, we reviewed the relevant animal experimental research literature in recent years and calculated that the minimum human equivalent dose of MPs leading to abnormal male semen quality is 0.016 milligram per kilogram per D. The literature comparison found that MP exposure in Japan and South Korea was close to this value. These results suggest that MPs can affect male semen quality and that MPs may significantly impact male fertility. For a deeper dive into the impact that microplastics have on our health, I would recommend reading a book I published a few years ago. This is literally one of the greatest environmental problems that humanity has ever faced, but it gets so little attention from the media. And before I end this article, I wanted to mention another study that was recently conducted by Consumer Reports, which found plasticizers in almost all of the food products that they tested. CR tested 85 food items for 11 categories: beverages, canned beans, condiments, dairy, fast food, grains, infant food, meat and poultry, packaged fruits and vegetables, prepared meals and seafood. And according to January 4 report, researchers examined the presence of plasticizers, a chemical used to boost the durability of plastics. The group analyzed 2 to 3 samples from each food item, looking for 2 types of common plasticizers, bisphenols and phthalates, as well as some of their substitutes. They found that these chemicals remained widespread in our food products despite growing evidence of health risks. CR discovered that 79% of tested samples had biphenyls, while 84 out of 85 items had phthalates. Exposure to such plasticizers can cause severe health issues, like, for example, in children, biphenyl A, BPA, exposure can negatively affect the brain and prostate glands as well as their behavior. BPA has also been linked with type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and high blood pressure. I'm so glad that Zero Hedge published the article I quoted above, because plasticizers really do cause severe health issues in humans, but most people in the general population that use these products have no idea. History would look back on us as the crazy plastic people, quote unquote, and the way that we run our society really is killing us. I realize that there is so much going on in the world right now, and an article about plastic may not be as exciting as some of my other articles, but this issue is of paramount importance. If we continue to go down this road, we'll slowly kill ourselves and everything around us. Our politicians and big corporations that produce all of this plastic know exactly what's happening, but they refuse to put an end to this madness. So for now, we will continue to commit societal suicide. Michael Snyder reports. This is by Michael Snyder, and he says, about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled Chaos is now available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so that you won't miss any of my articles. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely ask and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.